$6.19. That is what 1 gallon of regular unleaded gasoline costs right now in parts of California. $6, 1 gallon. Let that satisfactorily sink in for a moment. While you were sleeping last night, gas prices jumped again. And this time, it is not just California. Texas, Florida, New York, Illinois. Prices are climbing in almost every single state across America. But here's the part nobody is talking about. While you are paying $6, $7, sometimes $8 a gallon, your neighbor who drives a Tesla? He charged his car last night for $11. $11, full battery, 300 miles of range. While you spent almost $100 and got maybe 350 miles if you drive like a grandma on a Sunday afternoon. Is your gas car costing you thousands more than you think? Today, we are breaking down the real math, the numbers the oil companies do not want you to see, the numbers the car dealerships will never show you. And by the end of this video, you are going to have to make a decision. Keep bleeding money at the pump or make the switch that millions of Americans are already making right now. Gas prices are exploding. Is an electric car your only escape? Let me catch you up to speed on what has happened in just the last 72 hours, because things are moving fast. First, and this broke just yesterday, the San Francisco Chronicle published a bombshell report with the headline, "How Rising Gas Prices Are Changing the Math on Owning an EV in California." The article breaks down something that financial analysts have been whispering about for months. When gas prices cross a certain threshold, and right now we are way past that threshold, the total cost of ownership of an electric vehicle does not just become competitive with a gas car, it becomes significantly cheaper. We are talking thousands of dollars cheaper per year. Also yesterday, Yahoo Finance ran their own story. Rising gas prices could be good news for EVs. And they are absolutely right. Every single time gas prices spike in America, EV sales spike right alongside them. It happened in 2008. It happened in 2022. And it is happening right now. But here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly, a little scary. Bloomberg, just 4 days ago, published an article that connects all of this to something much bigger. The headline reads, "Iran war is pushing consumers to break up with fossil fuels." And that article lays out how the ongoing military tensions in the Middle East, specifically the situation with Iran, are creating massive uncertainty in global oil markets. Oil prices are climbing, supply chains are stressed, and American consumers, they are tired. They are tired of being held hostage by conflicts halfway around the world that they have zero control over. Let me give you the numbers as of today. The national average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in the United States is $4.67. That is UP from $4.12 just 1 month ago. In California, the average is $5.91. In parts of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego, drivers are reporting prices above $6. Some premium fuel stations in Beverly Hills are charging $6.49 per gallon. Meanwhile, and pay close attention to this, the average cost to fully charge an electric vehicle at home in the United States is between $8 and $14, depending on your local electricity rate. That gives you between 250 and 350 miles of range. Compare that to a gas car. If your tank holds 15 gallons and gas costs $4.67, you are paying $70.05 to fill up. $70 versus $11. You do not need a mathematics degree to see which number is smaller. All right, let us do what nobody else is doing right now. Let us sit down and do the actual math, not estimates, not approximately. The real, transparent, side-by-side cost comparison that every American driver needs to see today. Scenario: you drive the national average of 13,500 miles per year. That is about 37 miles per day. Pretty standard for most commuters. Gas car. Let us use a 2024 Toyota Camry as our baseline. It gets an EPA estimated 32 miles per gallon combined. At 13,500 miles per year, that means you burn approximately 422 gallons of gas per year. At today's national average of $4.67 per gallon, your annual fuel cost is $1,971.74, almost $2,000 just on gasoline. Now, if you live in California where the average is $5.91, that same 422 gallons cost you $2,493.02, nearly $2,500 per year, just to get to work and back. Electric car. Now let us use a 2025 Tesla Model 3 as our comparison. It gets an EPA estimated 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour. At 13,500 miles per year, you consume approximately 4,219 kilowatt hours. The national average residential electricity rate is currently about 16.6 cents per kilowatt hour. Your annual charging cost? $699.95. Let us round that up to $700. $1,071 versus $700. That's a $1,171 annual savings. You are saving $1,271 per year on fuel alone by driving electric. In California, the savings are even more dramatic because while electricity rates are higher there, about 32 cents per kilowatt hour, gas prices are so much higher that you still come out ahead. California EV charging cost, approximately $1,350 per year versus $2,493 for gas. That is still a savings of over $1,100 annually. But wait, we are not done, because fuel is only part of the story, maintenance. This is where electric cars absolutely destroy gas cars in the cost comparison. A typical gas car requires oil changes every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. That is roughly 2 to 3 oil changes per year at $40 to $75 each. EVs? 0 oil changes, ever. There is no oil. There is no engine in the traditional sense. Brake pads on a gas car need replacement roughly every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. Cost? Between $150 and $300 per axle. EVs use regenerative braking, which means the electric motor slows the car down and recaptures energy. The result? EV brake pads can last over 100,000 miles. Some Tesla owners report going 200,000 miles without ever replacing brake pads. Transmission fluid, spark plugs, timing belts, exhaust system repairs, all of these are gas car expenses that simply do not exist in an electric vehicle. The average American spends approximately $1,200 per year on maintenance for a gas car. EV owners, about $450 per year. That is a savings of $750 annually. So let us add it up. Fuel savings, $1,271. Maintenance savings, $750. Total annual savings of driving electric versus gas, $2,021 per year. Over a typical 5-year ownership period, that is $10,105 back in your pocket. $10,105 saved over 5 years. And remember, this calculation uses today's gas prices. If the situation with Iran escalates further, if oil supply gets disrupted, if gas hits $6 nationwide, which some analysts are now saying is entirely possible, those savings get even bigger. Now let us talk about the elephant in the room. Why are gas prices surging right now? And more importantly, is this going to get worse? As Bloomberg reported recently, the ongoing tensions between the United States and Iran are sending shockwaves through global oil markets. Without getting too deep into the geopolitics, because this is a car channel, not a political channel, here is what you need to know. Iran is one of the world's largest oil producers. They sit right next to the Strait of Hormuz, which is a narrow waterway through which approximately 20 to 21% of the world's daily oil consumption passes. That is roughly 20 million barrels of oil per day, flowing through a choke point that is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. When there is military tension in that region, oil traders get nervous. When oil traders get nervous, they start pricing in risk premiums. That means the price of a barrel of oil goes up, not because there is less oil available right now, but because there might be less oil available soon. And guess who pays for that risk premium? You, at the pump, every single time you swipe your credit card. As of today, Brent crude oil is trading at approximately $89 per barrel. West Texas Intermediate is at about $85. 1 month ago, those numbers were significantly lower. That is a sharp increase in just 30 days. And here is what keeps energy analysts up at night. If the Strait of Hormuz were to be disrupted even temporarily, oil prices could spike dramatically. At that level, you would be looking at gas prices of $7 to $9 per gallon in the United States. And that is not fear-mongering. That is basic supply and demand economics applied to a very real geopolitical scenario. This is exactly why consumers are breaking up with fossil fuels. Because people are done being at the mercy of global oil politics. Every time there is a war, a conflict, a supply disruption, a cartel decision, American families get punished at the pump. And more Americans are looking at electric vehicles and saying, why am I still playing this game? The data backs this up completely. Search interest for electric cars in the United States has surged massively in recent weeks. People are not just talking about switching, they are actively shopping, right now. So if you are one of the millions of Americans who is seriously considering making the switch, let me break down the top electric vehicles available right now that give you the best value for your money. Number 1, the Chevrolet Equinox EV, starting at approximately $33,500 before incentives. After tax credits, it becomes dramatically more affordable with an estimated 319 miles of range. Number 2, the Tesla Model 3. The refreshed version starts under $40,000 with over 300 miles of range and access to a massive charging network. Number 3, the the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Known for ultra-fast charging, going from 10 to 80% in about 18 minutes. Number 4, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, a balance of performance, range, and American design. Number 5, the Kia EV6, a strong value option with long range and one of the best warranties in the industry. Now I know what some of you are thinking. The upfront price is higher, and yes, that is true. But over time, the savings in fuel and maintenance can outweigh that difference. Electric cars are not perfect. Charging infrastructure can still be a challenge in some areas. Cold weather reduces range. Apartment living makes home charging difficult, and long road trips take more planning. But for most drivers, these challenges are manageable and improving every single year. So where does this go from here? Gas prices are expected to remain elevated, EV sales are projected to keep rising, and battery costs will continue to fall, making electric vehicles even more affordable. The transition is happening. The only question is whether you get ahead of it or keep paying more at the pump. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Your money, your car, your decision. But the numbers do not lie. Gas prices are rising, and electric vehicles have become a financial decision that could save you thousands of dollars every year. If this opened your eyes, hit like. Share it with someone who complains about gas prices every week, and subscribe if you want to stay ahead of everything happening with EVs and the future of driving. Drop a comment below. Are you considering switching to electric or sticking with gas? I will see you in the next one.